Hello everyone. I forgot to take a drink before we started, but there we go. I just took it now. Today you can see that I have a different book or drawing thing, because I'm gonna draw in it than I usually have. I made sure to set the focus today. I did not forget it this time. I have forgotten the past. But I have this book today because I always use this book when I'm using this pen. Ooh. Yeah, it's slightly out of focus because, well, I focused it a bit lower. But here it is. It says because. And I'm gonna fill it up with ink. Hope that wasn't too loud. Don't know if you can hear that, but it sounded pretty nice. Yeah, you can see it's empty. It's just some residue or whatever left. I'm only gonna fill it a little way, maybe halfway, because, well, this pen dries out way too quickly. Way too quickly. Because it's always dried out when I want to use it the next time. I don't use it often enough. Now, I don't know. Okay, so about there. I'm trying to not make it too loud. Oh, I think that's enough. Oh shit, you can't. Shoo, you can't see that. I was looking elsewhere. I never seem to quite be able to clean this off properly because it just keeps releasing more ink when I do That's fine though. I don't mind it being a little bit dirty. And as a wise man has said many a times in the past, before we do anything else, we need to put the cap back on the bottle. If you spill a bottle of fountain pen ink, it will ruin your day. There we go. So remember that. Well, we don't need to put the cap back on the bottle. It's a bit loud. So I'm just gonna set it aside, and you can put the cap back on. AKA you can post the cap, or you can have it capless. I like to write with it without the cap on. I like the weight, how it's weighted this way. Now I am gonna write, because this is a fountain ink pen. I'm gonna do a little bit of writing in cursive. You can see I've practiced in this book. The only reason I learned cursive was because I got one of these fancy pens, so I'm like, I need to learn how to write in a fancy way as well. I hope I'm not showing anything that I don't want to show. I don't think I have anything bad in this written here, but it's mostly just fun little like fantasy stuff and things like that. You can see this paper does bleed through a bit with ink, but that's fine. It's a good paper to write on. Here we are. I'm gonna be mostly drawing and not writing, because it would probably drive you mad anyway when I'm writing, because I can't spell. I really want to learn to spell, but I feel like I'm a little better on the keyboard because I've learned the muscle memory. Anyway, I'm gonna tell the story about Gurud. A man named Gurud. Let's see if the pen wants to ink. Yes. I usually forget how to write big letters. I usually write them differently every time. Gurud. Wait. where did I put it? I guess Gurrid. The ink almost looks blue to the camera, but it's purple, as you can see on the pen. And that was awful, that writing. Gerd was a person who had many problems in life. His family didn't want him to do what he wanted to be. They didn't want him to study. They didn't want him to study. I can't come up with. They didn't want him to study language. He wanted to become a great translator and whatnot. They just wanted him to be a doctor. And his life, he hasn't gotten anything fancy or anything like that, but even though his parents were quite well off, and he didn't even get their love and affection. And when he grew up, he found friends, but these friends have recently made it very obvious that he was never really a part of the friend group, that they didn't actually like him. And he has a boss. He couldn't get the job he wanted. He has a boss that really wants to push him to the limits, and he can't handle that. So one day he plans a big list of who to get rid of and how. He makes he gets all the tools and stuff for murder. So he's walking on a road with all these plans in his head, and he finds a rock that looks pretty nice. It has a kind of complicated shape to it, but it is smooth all around. It has no sharp edges or anything, but it's not completely rounded like a tumbled stone would be. but he lifted up to check on it, and on the underside of the rock it says, turn. Oops. As soon as I started talking, I made a mistake. And that's, damn it. Turn your Well, my writing is awful today. It doesn't matter. And he thought this to be quite curious. Hey, you, turn your frown upside down. And he thinks it is quite interesting. He starts like walking he started walking towards another rock that goes a little bit further into the forest, and it also has something written on it. This is the last time I'm writing at the same time as I'm telling a story. not very good at multitasking, you know? I mean, it shouldn't be that hard because a lot of times when you're writing stories, you're thinking up a story in your mind and writing it, but for some reason I found this very difficult. Yes, come closer if you dare to see the truth. He does go even further because it's pretty easy to spot these stones. They are not like, unlike, you know, unlike the grass, they are very easy to be spotted. There are no other stones other than these smooth stones that are laying all over the ground. One is next to, he has gotten a bit further into the forest. He can't see the road from which he came, and he sees that there's a big tree. It has a hole in it, so he finds it quite curious. He looks in there and there's a stone. It says, oh my god, you know, I was supposed to write at. I don't know why I put an H there. Like, what even? That rock says, look at them. And then this tree, he can see on the walls of inside the tree, he sees a lot of images of his friends and his parents. He sees them when they're fighting. He sees them when they're sad. He sees them when I'm gonna take a little bit of a drink. I moved away from the mic to not make too loud drinking noises. But I spilled all over myself. It's just water, so it's fine, but I'm so clumsy. I really need one of those mugs that sit on the table and can't fall over, because that would be nice. Anyway, he sees the people, he sees his friends talking behind each other's backs, talking about their flaws and what they don't like. He sees his boss. He sees his boss crying alone in his home with all his fancy things that he have bought. And he sees misery in their lives. Then he goes out and he goes further into the forest. He sees a rock. And it says, no, my pen. I think I'm holding it a bit weirdly. That was my alarm. What? That's not. It says, look at yourself. He looks into the water of the pond, and he sees himself. He sees himself being angry at them, the people in his life. He sees all the time he's spent planning their demise and just thinking about them in general and how mad he is at them. He sees when he sits, he sees when he skips a good movie to write a angry message to his parents. He sees how he spends time at his job and talking to his boss. And when he steps away from the pond, he says to himself, I don't want to bother with them. I don't want to bother with them anymore. And the rock says, he sees another rock a bit away from the pond. He picks it up. The rock says, go live your life. Go live it. Go. I should have had an and there. I think that would sound better. Go live your life. Go live it. Go live your life. Go live it the way you deserve. And from that point onwards, he moved. He found another job. He didn't find a new group of friends, but he found one really close friend. That he really enjoyed spending time with. And he had his own little place. It wasn't very much. It wasn't anything special, but it was his own little place, away from others, away from his parents. And he lived happily. And that's the end, my friends. That's the end of that story. What do you think of that? I think it was quite wonderful. This is so fun. Now I have a pen with ink. Maybe I'll keep writing a bit after. I kind of get a little bit put off from writing with my pen because I need to fill it with ink like every time. I should probably use up a bit more of the ink. You can't really see how much it is in there because it gets stuck to the walls. But maybe I can use it up so that I don't waste ink by just letting it dry out. But that's it for me. I locked my screen, so I think I'm gonna end it there. I feel like I write better sometimes. Like I'm not great or anything. What is this about, by the way? There's some spells. I like to write spells. Like just as if pretend it's like poetry, kind of, but pretend that they're spells because it's fun. And I like doing things that are fun, even if it's not a real spell, you know. You can stop and read that if you want. I'm not gonna read it. Hey, wait. This is definitely not purple. I just realized. But this is definitely purple. And the color I had in the pen before was definitely purple. But I didn't clean the pen out, which means the pigment probably made it, like the extra pigment that was already in the pen, because it dried out all the liquid, got turned away, but the pigment was still there. I think that's what made it so dark. Anyway, this video is going on for too long. It's gonna take forever to upload. So I'm gonna end it here, friends. And go live your life. Go live it the way you deserve. Please. Don't murder anyone. And bye.